Have you ever found yourself wondering why the path to your dreams feels so complicated? Maybe you've been working tirelessly, pouring your energy into something that truly matters to you, but instead of making progress, you keep hitting roadblocks. It's a frustrating feeling, and one that can make even the strongest among us question if we're on the right track. Here's the thing. You're not alone in this. The journey to achieving anything meaningful is rarely smooth. Along the way, it's easy to fall into habits or patterns that, without realizing it, hold us back. These mistakes are common, but the good news is, they're also avoidable. By identifying them, you can break free from what's keeping you stuck and take meaningful steps forward. That's where Stoicism comes in. It's not just an ancient philosophy, it's a practical guide for navigating life's challenges. When you're chasing your dreams, Stoicism can offer clarity, resilience, and a sense of purpose. It's about focusing on what's in your control and letting go of the rest. Today, we're going to explore 8 common mistakes people make when pursuing their dreams, and how Stoic principles can help you avoid them. Before we continue, I'd love for you to take a moment to support this channel. If you find value in what we're discussing, please like this video. It really helps. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future content. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Have you faced any of these challenges? Or maybe you've already found a way to overcome them. Let's make this a space where we can share and grow together. Let's get started. Mistake number 1, chasing external validation. When chasing a dream, one of the most common mistakes people make is seeking validation from others. Think about it for a moment. How often do we find ourselves making decisions not because they align with what we truly want, but because we want someone else to approve of us? Maybe it's a friend, a family member, or even society at large. It's as if their nod of approval becomes the measure of our worth. But here's the problem with that. It's a never-ending chase. When we look outside ourselves for validation, we give up a piece of our freedom. Instead of focusing on what genuinely fulfills us, we're constantly adjusting our actions to meet someone else's expectations. And the reality is, no matter how hard you try, you can't control what others think of you. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This simple yet profound idea can change everything. The only approval that truly matters is your own. Think about what drives you, what genuinely excites you. When you shift your focus inward, you'll find a sense of freedom and clarity that external validation can never provide. Let's take a moment to understand why this need for validation is so deeply ingrained. From a young age, we're taught to seek praise. From parents, teachers, friends, it's how we learn to navigate the world. But as adults, this conditioning can lead us astray. Instead of listening to our inner compass, we let the opinions of others steer our decisions. This can create a disconnect between who we are and who we're trying to be, leaving us feeling unfulfilled. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to let go of this need. After all, we're social beings, and wanting to be liked is natural. But here's a practical way to start. The next time you make a decision, ask yourself, am I doing this because it feels right to me, or because I think it will impress someone else? Be honest with yourself. If the answer points to external validation, take a moment to pause and consider what would happen if you followed your own instincts instead. Another way to break free from this trap is to spend time reflecting on your values. What's most important to you? What kind of life do you want to build? When you're clear on your values, they become your compass. Suddenly, the opinions of others start to matter less because you're living in alignment with your own principles. A helpful exercise is journaling. Take a few minutes each day to write about what truly matters to you. Ask yourself questions like, what do I want to accomplish? Or what brings me joy and fulfillment? This practice helps you reconnect with your core values and reminds you to prioritize them over external approval. And let's not forget, even when you focus on your own path, criticism may still come your way. That's okay. Marcus Aurelius also reminds us that people will judge no matter what you do. Their opinions are a reflection of their own minds, not yours. The key is to stay grounded in your own truth. Criticism can often say more about the critic than the person being judged. Understanding this can help you detach emotionally from unnecessary judgments. Another important step is to surround yourself with people who genuinely support you. Having a circle of friends or mentors who understand your goals and encourage you can make a world of difference. Their validation doesn't come from a place of judgment, but from genuine care and alignment with your values. I know how challenging this can be. It's hard to shake off the need for approval, especially when we've been conditioned to seek it for so long. But remember, the goal isn't to completely ignore others. It's to prioritize your own voice above all. When you make this shift, you'll start to notice something incredible. Your actions will feel more authentic, your confidence will grow, and your dreams will begin to feel more like your own. Because they are. So, what about you? Have you ever caught yourself chasing validation instead of following your own path? How did it make you feel, and what did you learn from it? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might just inspire someone else who's struggling with the same challenge. Let's keep this conversation going. Mistake number 2, lacking a clear vision. Lacking a clear vision is another common obstacle that stops people from realizing their dreams. Imagine setting out on a journey with no destination in mind. You might wander aimlessly, taking random turns, and eventually find yourself lost. That's what happens when we pursue our goals without clarity. It's not that we lack ambition, it's that we haven't defined what success actually looks like. Without a clear vision, it's easy to waste time and energy on things that don't really matter. You might feel busy, but at the end of the day, you're left wondering if you've made any real progress. This lack of direction can be draining, even discouraging. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This quote captures the importance of clarity. Before you can take meaningful action, you need to define your destination. Having a clear vision starts with asking yourself the right questions. What do you truly want? What does success look like to you? Not to your peers, not to your family, but to you. Take some time to reflect on these questions. Write down your thoughts. Don't worry about getting it perfect right away. Clarity often comes in layers. The more you think about it, the clearer your vision will become. Once you have a general idea of your goal, it's important to break it down into smaller, actionable steps. Let's say your dream is to write a book. That's a wonderful goal, but it's also a big one. If you focus only on the end result, it can feel overwhelming. Instead, think about the first step you can take. Maybe it's committing to write for 30 minutes a day. Maybe it's brainstorming ideas for your chapters. Each small step brings you closer to your larger vision. Another key to clarity is aligning your goals with your values. It's not enough to want something. You need to understand why you want it. Does your goal reflect who you are and what you stand for? When your goals align with your values, they become more meaningful, and you're more likely to stay committed even when the journey gets tough. Visualization is another powerful tool. Take a moment to close your eyes and imagine yourself achieving your goal. What does it feel like? What does your life look like? Visualization isn't just about dreaming, it's about creating a mental blueprint for your success. It helps you stay focused and motivated, especially when distractions arise. Let's also talk about distractions. In today's world, it's so easy to get sidetracked. Social media, endless notifications, and other people's opinions can all pull you away from your path. That's why it's crucial to set boundaries. Create a space, both physically and mentally, where you can focus on your vision without interruptions. This might mean setting specific times for deep work or limiting your time on social media. Whatever it takes to protect your focus, do it. Accountability can also play a big role in maintaining clarity. Share your goals with someone you trust, a friend, a mentor, or even a community that shares your interests. When you know someone else is rooting for you, it adds an extra layer of motivation. Plus, they can offer valuable feedback and keep you on track when you start to drift. Lastly, remember that clarity isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. As you grow and evolve, your vision might shift, and that's okay. The important thing is to stay connected to your inner compass. Regularly check in with yourself. Are you still moving in the direction that feels right? If not, don't be afraid to adjust your course. Having a clear vision is like having a map for your journey. It doesn't mean the road will always be smooth, but it does mean you'll know where you're going. And when you know where you're going, every step, no matter how small, feels purposeful. So what's your vision? Have you taken the time to define it? If not, what's stopping you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's help each other find the clarity we need to keep moving forward. Mistake number 3, fear of failure. Fear of failure is one of the biggest obstacles that holds people back from chasing their dreams. It's not just about the fear of making mistakes. It's about what we think those mistakes say about us. Have you ever hesitated to start something new because you were afraid of falling short? That fear can be paralyzing. It keeps us stuck in the safety of what's familiar, even when we know deep down that growth lies outside our comfort zone. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This idea is at the heart of overcoming the fear of failure. Failure itself isn't the problem, it's how we perceive it. When we see failure as a reflection of our worth or a sign that we're not good enough, it becomes a roadblock. But when we reframe failure as a natural part of learning and growth, it loses its power over us. Think about it this way. Every successful person you admire has faced failure at some point. The difference is they didn't let it stop them. Instead, they used it as a stepping stone. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a crucial part of the process. Each mistake you make is an opportunity to learn, to adjust, and to come back stronger. So how do we start reframing failure? One practical approach is to shift your focus from outcomes to effort. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this experience?" When you focus on what you can control, like your effort, your attitude, and your willingness to try, you take the pressure off the result. This mindset not only reduces fear, but also makes the journey more rewarding. Another strategy is to start small. If the fear of failure feels overwhelming, break your goal into smaller, more manageable steps. Each step is an opportunity to build confidence and prove to yourself that failure isn't the end. It's a chance to grow. For example, if your dream is to start a business, begin by researching your market or creating a simple prototype. Each small success builds momentum and helps you face bigger challenges with less fear. It's also important to challenge the stories you tell yourself about failure. Sometimes our fear is rooted in assumptions about what others will think. But here's the truth. Most people are too focused on their own lives to dwell on your mistakes. And even if someone does judge you, remember Marcus Aurelius's advice. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Their opinions don't define you. Building resilience against failure also requires self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, celebrate the fact that you had the courage to try. Remind yourself that failure is a sign of effort, not weakness. The more you practice self-compassion, the more resilient you become. Visualization can also help. Instead of focusing solely on your fear, take a moment to visualize yourself handling failure with grace. Imagine how you would respond, what you would learn, and how you would move forward. This mental rehearsal can make facing challenges feel less intimidating. Lastly, seek support from others. Share your fears with a trusted friend, mentor, or community. Talking about your fears can make them feel less overwhelming, and hearing others' experiences can remind you that you're not alone. Sometimes, the simple act of sharing your fears can help you see them in a new light. So what about you? Has the fear of failure ever held you back? How did you overcome it, or how are you working on it now? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could be the encouragement someone else needs to take their next step. Let's support each other as we face our fears and chase our dreams. Mistake number 4. Overestimating willpower. Relying too much on willpower might seem like a good strategy when you're chasing your dreams, but it can actually set you up for burnout and inconsistency. Have you ever promised yourself you'd stay disciplined no matter what, only to find yourself exhausted and frustrated when your motivation faded? It's a common experience because willpower, by itself, is a limited resource. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of discipline and preparation. He believed that consistency and small intentional actions were far more effective than bursts of effort fueled by fleeting motivation. He wrote, "You must build up your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal." This advice highlights the power of breaking big goals into smaller, manageable steps. One of the main issues with overestimating willpower is that it places too much pressure on you to succeed through sheer determination. But life is full of distractions, challenges, and unforeseen obstacles. When you rely solely on willpower, you're setting yourself up to fail the moment your energy wanes or unexpected difficulties arise. Instead, the key is to focus on building sustainable habits. Habits are like a foundation. They don't require constant effort once they're established. For example, if you want to write a book, set aside 20 minutes every morning to write, rather than expecting yourself to complete a chapter in one sitting. These small, consistent actions add up over time and keep you moving forward without overwhelming you. To build sustainable habits, start by identifying what's most important to you. Ask yourself, what small action can I take today that aligns with my bigger goal? Make it specific and achievable. For instance, instead of saying, "I'll get fit," commit to doing 10 minutes of exercise every day. The more specific your actions are, the easier it is to follow through. Another helpful strategy is to create systems that support your goals. Systems are routines or processes that make it easier to stay on track. For instance, if you want to eat healthier, plan your meals in advance and keep nutritious snacks on hand. When the decision-making process is simplified, you're less likely to rely on willpower alone. It's also important to celebrate small wins along the way. Every time you follow through on a habit or complete a small task, take a moment to acknowledge your effort. This positive reinforcement keeps you motivated and reminds you that progress is being made, even if it feels slow. Another way to avoid over-relying on willpower is to anticipate challenges and plan for them. For example, if you know you tend to lose focus after a long day, schedule your most important tasks for the morning when your energy is higher. By working with your natural rhythms, you're setting yourself up for success. Accountability can also play a huge role. Share your goals with someone who can support you and hold you accountable. Whether it's a friend, mentor, or community, having someone to check in with can make a big difference. They can provide encouragement and remind you of your progress when your motivation starts to waver. Finally, practice self-compassion. It's normal to have days when things don't go as planned. Instead of beating yourself up, remind yourself that setbacks are part of the process. Use these moments as an opportunity to reflect and adjust your approach. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect, it's to stay consistent. So how do you approach your goals? Have you ever found yourself relying too much on willpower only to feel burned out? What strategies have helped you build habits that last? Share your experiences in the comments. Let's learn from each other and keep moving forward, one small step at a time. Mistake number 5. Procrastination and excuses. Procrastination and making excuses are some of the most common barriers to achieving our dreams. It's so easy to tell ourselves, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm just waiting for the perfect moment." But here's the truth. The perfect moment rarely comes. Waiting for it often leads to missed opportunities and stagnation. It's a cycle that keeps us from making meaningful progress. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, advised, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This powerful reminder highlights the importance of focusing on the present moment. Life is uncertain, and the time we have is limited. When we procrastinate, we're essentially putting our dreams on hold, hoping that someday things will magically align. But someday isn't guaranteed. The best time to start is always now. Let's explore why procrastination happens. Often, it's rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even fear of success. Sometimes it's simply a lack of clarity about where to begin. Whatever the reason, procrastination is rarely about laziness. It's a response to underlying emotions or uncertainties. Recognizing this can help us address it more effectively. One way to overcome procrastination is to break your goal into smaller, manageable steps. When a task feels overwhelming, it's easy to put it off. But when you focus on one small action at a time, it becomes much more achievable. For example, if you want to start a new project, begin with just 10 minutes of brainstorming. Once you take that first step, momentum builds, and continuing becomes easier. Another strategy is to set deadlines for yourself. Deadlines create a sense of urgency and help you stay accountable, but here's the key. Make your deadlines realistic. Unrealistic expectations can lead to frustration and more procrastination. Give yourself enough time to complete tasks without feeling overwhelmed, but not so much time that you lose focus. It's also helpful to identify and challenge your excuses. When you catch yourself saying, "I'll do it later," or "I'm too busy," pause and ask yourself if that's really true. Often, our excuses are just a way of avoiding discomfort. Remind yourself of why your goal matters and how taking action aligns with your values. Another powerful tool is to create a supportive environment. Minimize distractions, set up a dedicated workspace, and surround yourself with people who encourage and inspire you. When your environment supports your goals, it becomes much easier to stay on track. Visualization can also play a role in overcoming procrastination. Take a moment to imagine how it will feel to complete the task you've been avoiding. Visualize the sense of accomplishment and the progress you'll make. This mental rehearsal can motivate you to take action. One of the most effective ways to combat procrastination is to adopt the 2-minute rule. If a task will take less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. This simple habit helps you tackle small tasks before they pile up and become overwhelming. For larger tasks, use this rule to get started. Commit to working on the task for just 2 minutes. Often you'll find that once you start, you're motivated to keep going. Lastly, practice self-compassion. Procrastination is a habit, and like any habit, it takes time to change. Be kind to yourself when you slip up. Instead of dwelling on what you didn't do, focus on what you can do now. Remember, progress is more important than perfection. So, how has procrastination shown up in your life? What excuses have held you back, and how have you overcome them? Share your experiences in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to take their first step. Let's work together to break free from procrastination and keep moving toward our dreams. Mistake number 6, comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is one of the quickest ways to derail your progress and drain your motivation. Have you ever looked at someone else's success and thought, "Why am I not there yet?" It's a tough feeling, and one that often leads to unnecessary stress. Instead of focusing on your own growth, you end up measuring yourself against others, which can make you feel inadequate or stuck. The Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, "No man was ever wise by chance." His words highlight the importance of focusing on your own path rather than comparing it to someone else's. Everyone's journey is unique, shaped by different challenges, opportunities, and circumstances. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your own progress and potential. Why is comparison so harmful? For one, it distracts you from your goals. When you're constantly looking at what others are doing, it's easy to feel overwhelmed or discouraged. You might even start to doubt your abilities or question whether your efforts are worth it. But here's the truth. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's okay. Your path is your own, and it doesn't need to look like anyone else's. One way to avoid the comparison trap is to shift your focus inward. Instead of asking, "How do I measure up to others?" ask yourself, "How can I improve from where I was yesterday?" This simple shift in perspective helps you stay grounded and motivated. It's not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you were before. Another strategy is to practice gratitude. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you've accomplished and what you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, which can help you feel more content and less inclined to compare yourself to others. It's a reminder that your journey is valid and valuable, even if it looks different from someone else's. It's also helpful to set personal goals that align with your values. When you're clear on what matters to you, it becomes easier to tune out distractions and stay focused on your path. Remember, success isn't about reaching someone else's milestones. It's about achieving what's meaningful to you. Social media can be a major source of comparison. Scrolling through highlight reels of other people's lives can make you feel like you're falling behind. To counteract this, try limiting your time on social media or curating your feed to include content that inspires and uplifts you. Follow accounts that align with your goals and values, and unfollow those that trigger feelings of inadequacy. Another powerful tool is self-reflection. Take time to understand your strengths, values, and aspirations. When you're confident in who you are and what you stand for, it becomes much harder to be swayed by comparisons. Reflecting on your journey helps you see how far you've come and reminds you that your progress is worth celebrating. Lastly, practice compassion, both for yourself and for others. Remind yourself that everyone is on their own journey, facing their own struggles. Just because someone else's success looks impressive doesn't mean they haven't faced challenges along the way. And just because your journey looks different doesn't mean it's any less valuable. So have you ever caught yourself comparing your progress to someone else's? How did it make you feel, and what steps did you take to refocus on your own path? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to let go of comparisons and embrace their unique journey. Let's remind each other that growth is personal, and that's what makes it so powerful. Mistake number 7, ignoring the present moment. Ignoring the present moment is one of the most overlooked mistakes when chasing your dreams. Have you ever found yourself so focused on the future that you forget to appreciate where you are right now? It's easy to get caught up in planning, worrying, or dreaming about what's ahead, but this often leads to anxiety and prevents meaningful action in the present. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." This timeless advice underscores the importance of grounding yourself in the here and now. The future is uncertain, and the only moment you truly have control over is the present. By focusing on what you can do today, you set the stage for long-term success without becoming overwhelmed by what's yet to come. One of the biggest pitfalls of ignoring the present moment is that it creates a cycle of inaction. When you're always waiting for the perfect time or worrying about what might go wrong, you miss opportunities to take meaningful steps forward. The truth is, there's never a perfect time to start. The perfect time is simply now. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for staying present. It's about fully engaging with the moment you're in, whether you're working on a project, spending time with loved ones, or simply enjoying a quiet moment. Mindfulness helps you focus on what matters and reduces the mental clutter that often leads to stress and procrastination. A practical way to cultivate mindfulness is to start each day with a moment of reflection. Take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that aligns with my goals? This simple practice sets a clear intention and helps you prioritize your time and energy. Breaking tasks into smaller steps is another way to stay present. When you focus on completing one small task at a time, it's easier to stay engaged and avoid feeling overwhelmed. For example, if your goal is to write a book, commit to writing just one paragraph or page each day. Over time, these small actions add up to significant progress. It's also important to limit distractions. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get pulled in multiple directions by notifications, emails, or social media. Set boundaries for yourself by scheduling dedicated time for focused work and creating a space free of distractions. This not only helps you stay present, but also boosts your productivity. Another powerful strategy is to practice gratitude. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on what went well and what you're thankful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what you have, helping you appreciate the progress you've made and the opportunities in front of you. Staying present doesn't mean ignoring the future. It means using the present as a foundation for what's to come. When you focus on the actions you can take today, you build momentum and confidence. This approach not only reduces anxiety about the future, but also makes the journey toward your dreams more fulfilling. So how can you start embracing the present moment? Begin by taking small steps. Whether it's setting aside 5 minutes for mindfulness, tackling a single task, or simply pausing to appreciate where you are, every action counts. Remember, the present moment is where your power lies. It's where dreams are built, one step at a time. Have you ever struggled to stay present? What helped you reconnect with the moment? Share your experiences in the comments. Let's inspire each other to focus on the now and make the most of every moment. Mistake number 8, neglecting mental and emotional resilience. Neglecting mental and emotional resilience is one of the most critical mistakes you can make when chasing your dreams. Setbacks are inevitable, and without the ability to bounce back, it's easy to lose momentum, or worse, give up entirely. Have you ever felt like a single failure or tough moment was enough to derail your progress? You're not alone. The truth is, resilience isn't just helpful, it's essential for achieving your goals. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This Stoic teaching reminds us that while we can't control every challenge that comes our way, we can control how we respond to it. Building mental and emotional resilience allows you to face setbacks with grace and use them as opportunities for growth rather than reasons to quit. Let's explore why resilience is so important. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are a part of any worthwhile journey. Whether it's a rejection, a failed project, or an unexpected obstacle, setbacks can feel discouraging. But resilience gives you the tools to process these challenges and move forward. It helps you see failures not as endpoints, but as stepping stones to success. So, how can you cultivate resilience? One powerful strategy is to reframe setbacks as learning opportunities. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective helps you stay focused on growth and keeps you from getting stuck in negative emotions. Another key to resilience is self-compassion. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to be hard on yourself. But beating yourself up only makes setbacks harder to overcome. Instead, treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a friend. Acknowledge your feelings, but remind yourself that mistakes are a natural part of the process. Building a strong support system is also crucial. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and your vision. Whether it's friends, family, or a mentor, having a network of supportive individuals can provide encouragement and perspective when you're facing tough times. They can remind you of your strengths and help you see challenges in a new light.